OK, let's just ask you to give your thoughts on some of the arguments presented at PMQs, and we tend to focus on the two leaders, of course. There was a request from the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, about no one needing care to have to sell their home, because that was one of the suggestions. That was one of the reassurances, I think, that Mr Johnson and his team were hoping to give to the public. We can't be that confident, said Sir Keir, can we? Because there are, for instance, this social care plan doesn't actually address the question of accommodation costs.
Well, I think that the two key issues are that there should be a cap on costs, and that is very important. And the Prime Minister said yesterday £86,000 would be the cap on costs. And I think that is the critical answer to Keir Starmer's question. And, you know, we may have to refine it. We should certainly kick it around. The government has made, as I say, a very good start in resolving this issue, but it's not over yet. And we will need to look in great detail at the small print. But I think that it's the inequity between someone who's unfortunate enough to suffer from cancer and who is hospitalised, and where the NHS surrounds them and helps them and makes them better if it's possible. And it doesn't cost them. And it's the other side of dementia and Parkinson's and other diseases where quite simply there's such a difference in approach, and where, you know, everything they own and everything they have is up for grabs. So I think it is addressing that point. And I thought the Prime Minister was compelling on that when he spoke in the House of Commons yesterday, that I think is the reason why in Sutton Coldfield people are very pleased that we've made the progress which he announced yesterday.
It's interesting you say, of course, it's right that MPs should look at the small print and kick things around. Why the undue haste then, do you think, to have a vote of yourself and your peers and colleagues this evening? Why not give it a few weeks so you can lift a few rocks and have a look underneath?
Well, I think that it's the principle of the matter that we'll be voting on today, no matter how tightly.
Well, you're going to enshrine this tax rise in law tonight, aren't you?
Yes, but I think that's right. And it comes, of course, ahead of the public expenditure review in October, and the plans for public expenditure for the next 3 years. And that of course will be a time when we look across the piece at all the aspects. But I think it shows government determination that they finally got off the pot and that they've made a decision. And I think it's right for members of Parliament to back it. And that's why I shall be voting with a certain amount of enthusiasm tonight for the measure.
OK. No regrets about the breaking the manifesto pledge? Has that particular concern been abated?
I think that there's a widespread acceptance that, with the best will in the world, COVID and the pandemic have turned our public finances upside down. That the government has put taxpayers' money in enormous amounts to help mitigate the effects of COVID, to help protect jobs and livelihoods and so on, to the tune of £400 billion. That's an enormous amount of money that has surrounded people's futures and opportunities, and it was absolutely the right thing to do. I think in those circumstances, saying that the triple lock should apply when it would lead to an extraordinarily large amount of increase, 8.5%, because of the effects of the COVID pandemic on the public finances. I think that would be very, very hard to defend. And I think most people will accept that have a double rather than a triple lock, which takes account of inflation and earnings, that does give protection and means, I think the estimates are 2.5% or up to a 2.5% increase, more if inflation is higher. I think that is the right answer, and I think that the public will forgive 1 year where, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, it's a double lock, returning, as the Prime Minister said yesterday, to a triple lock thereafter.